Hi, I'm Kristen Crabtree with Crabtree Real Estate Team at Century 21 Hometown in Pismo Beach. And I get a lot of questions when I meet with sellers about what exactly constitutes the selling process. What are the steps that happen during a transaction? The next thing is receiving an offer. That's always the exciting day. You get your first offer. I believe any offer is a good offer. So even if it's really low, at least you've got somebody dialoguing with you who wants your home. Again, your agent should be skilled in reviewing that offer with you, talking about price and terms, and explaining to you exactly what the elements of the offer are. The next step is negotiating the sale. So we have the offer. Maybe we like everything. Maybe we don't. If there are certain things in the offer that we don't like, now is the time for your agent to really shine and help you get the ingredients that are most important to you. Price is not always the most important thing, and that's something that we discover during the process of receiving an offer. Sometimes the length of escrow is more critical. You want to move soon, or you want extra time to be able to pack your stuff up. Sometimes it's having it as an as-is sale as opposed to having to do inspections and repairs. So there's a lot of different elements that can be negotiated to make things work in your favor and the way you want to see them transpire. The next step is the contract's accepted and ratified, and it goes off to escrow, and then escrow is opened. Escrow is a third party, a neutral third party that handles the transaction from both sides. So it makes sure that the buyer brings the money to the table, either in the form of cash, down payment, or loan, and make sure that the seller brings the deed and completes any necessary repairs and inspections. So that leads us to talk a little bit about inspections. The standard inspections are home inspection and pest inspection. In this county, typically the home inspection is paid for by the buyer, and the pest is typically paid for by the seller. Now again, that can all be negotiated, but those are the standards in the area. Pest inspections are searching not just for termites, but also for wood rot, and in some areas like in Cambria, also for beetles. Those are sort of the dominant pests that we get in this area. Most coastal homes do have termites, so it's good to factor that into your budget, and ask your agent how much tenting and so forth is, so that you know that prior to accepting an offer that requires you to do that. Then the loan gets funded, and that's an exciting day because we know that the buyer is good to go, the loan is approved, and we're ready to rock and roll. They will also do, during this final period, a final walkthrough where they go through the property, make sure it's in the same condition as when they made their offer or when it was accepted, and make sure any repairs that were agreed upon are done. And that leads me to one other sort of side note about repairs. Every transaction in California is an as-is sale, according to the boilerplate that the California Association of Realtors has written. However, when a buyer is working with a seller on the other end, a seller that's not a bank, usually the buyer expects the seller to do some repairs. It's important for the seller to understand that they're under no obligation to do these repairs. It is part of the negotiation process. If you have good terms and good price, it's customary and generous to do some repairs, but again, you're not obligated to do anything, and your agent should be able to advise you as to what is a good idea to do and what is not. And finally, the close of escrow. That's the day that the buyers get the keys and you get the money, and hopefully everybody is happy. So that's the process. In addition to this video, I do have a guide on my website that will explain everything to you in even more detail. It's a free book. You just go to www.homesinsanluisobispo.com and click on the top where it says Seller's Guide. If you have any further questions, feel free to call me, 805-540-9962. Thanks.